Hey guys, the Miho Within here. I got another Sylvan deck profile for you guys. So the last one that I did was try like a more casual Sylvan deck. It was just trying to make them work, trying to figure out a build after the ban list happened and Amaryllis got hit because the FTK version of Sylvans was the best one to play at the time. But now I figured out this new one. And this new one's really strong. Like it can put on some really strong first turn boards, and it's really consistent too. So I'll just go straight into it. So let's go into the Sylvan monsters first. So 3 Hermitries, 2 Sage Koyas, and then now the 1-ofs of Sylvans, 1 Cherub Sprout, 1 Peacekeeper, and 1 Princess Sprite. 1 Princess Sprout, sorry. Now for the non-Sylvan monsters, we're using Predaplants, we're using Cobra, 1 Predaplant Cobra, and then 3 Scorpio. We're playing Brilliant Fusion in this build, so that's why we're using them. 3 Bao Baboon. Very good, he adds a lot of consistency. There's a really strong combo. He can actually fix your hands too when you get when you draw some of the bricks, like the pieces for Brilliant Fusion. He just fixes them really easily. 3 of him. 3 Lone Fire Blossoms, of course. 2 Rose Lovers. Be able to special summon your big trees from your hand. 1 Spore, 1 Glow Up Bulb, and that's it for the plants. And then the other 2 monsters in the deck are 1 Gem Knight Garnet and 1 Formage Trick Clown. Now that's it for the monsters, so now to go into the spells, we have 2 Mount Sylvania. Another thing to note about this card, it has Sylvan in the name, so it works with Sylvan Charity to be able to send your be able to stack your deck. 3 Sylvan Charities, 3 Fragrant Storm. Now this card is crazy. There's a combo I'll go into after we finish the deck. 2 Brilliant Fusions to be able to send Performage Trick Clown to graveyard. 1 Super Solar Nutrient. For consistency purposes, you can tribute just a level 1 monster. You can special summon Lone Fire Blossom, Bao Baboon, or what was the last one? Lone Fire, Bao Baboon, or Scorpio. 1 Terraforming to search out Sylvania. Instant Fusion if you already drew Brilliant Fusion. You can just search out the Instant Fusion with Cobra. The best card in the deck, Soul Charge. And last one's 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Foolish Burial. Okay, so that's it for the main deck. So now to go into the extra deck, I'll start with the Instant Fusion target. We play 1 Thousand Eyes Restrict. Then our Brilliant Fusion target, Gem Knight Seraphonite. We play 3 light monsters in the deck. We play Trick Clown, Cherub Sprout, and Princess Sprout. 3 light targets. Of course, Trick Clown is the main one you want to go to. If you draw into Trick Clown, it's not that bad since you can just discard it with Scorpio. But yeah, you still have 2 extra light targets just in case if you do draw into Trick Clown. Now for the synchros, we play 1 Vermilion Mech Dragon, 1 Cyframe Lord Omega, and that's it for the synchros and fusions. Now for links, we play Link Karibo. We play some level 1s, and it works well with Instant Fusion to get rid of that Thousand Eyes so he's not clogging up your extra monster zone. And then 1 Saryuja Scaldred. So he's very important. He's the most important one because he really lets you extend off of a Brilliant Fusion. That's it for the Link monsters I play. If you want to add another Link monster, one that I suggest, I decided to cut it because I didn't figure it was that important, but if you do want to play more Link monsters, I'd suggest Wee Witch's Apprentice is actually pretty good because you can use double Bao Baboon to make this card, and then when it gets destroyed, you get to actually add Bao Baboon. The main point about that is that you get a plant monster in your hand, and since Bao Baboon works pretty well with Hermitry, since he lets you stack a plant type monster on the top of your deck. It has some pretty good synergy, but I decided to cut her. I don't think that she's that important. But those are the two, so Link, Kuriboh, and Skuldred. Now for the XYZs, I play one Sylvan Princess Sprite. She's the best time to use her is during late game, because early game, like at your first turn, you're sending all your big monsters are coming out. So you're using all your resources, all your Hermitries, all your Sage Koyas. So once all your big monsters are out of your deck and you can't Lone Fire for any more monsters, that's when Princess Sprite goes into play. If the game really goes on that long, but usually with this deck, games are over pretty quick, because if you go first, you just you just establish that crazy first turn board. And then one number 49 Fortune's Tune. So actually there's a card that I would use instead of Fortune's Tune, and that's number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. So let me explain why I put Fortune Tune first. So they both have their pros and cons for different situations. So Fortune's Tune is for Ba-Baboon. If you summon 2 Ba-Baboons, you can make Fortune's Tune on your first turn. Let's say you don't have any other way to special summon after you go for your Ba-Baboon play, so that you can set up your hand. You're fixing your hand so that your Brilliant Fusion works and everything. And then you can make Fortune's Tune to actually guarantee that you it's not guaranteed, but it's a very good defensive play to make it so that you can survive until next turn. Because he can't be destroyed, he can't be targeted. You detach a material from him every time he would get destroyed. Now the other one, number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. I don't have him yet. I'm just waiting for him in the mail. But yeah, I didn't know this card even existed. I just looked up in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. I was like, what cards can you actually make with Ba-Baboon? And then I saw him. And then so his effect is that you bamboozle your opponent because they have no idea what this card does. I'm just kidding. What this card does is that you can detach 2 materials from it, and then when your opponent activates a monster effect, you detach 2 materials, and then you make that monster's effect, make both players draw 1 card. Then his last effect is that you can attach him to 1 number monster that you have. We actually play 1 number monster in this deck, so you can actually set up a field that has both of them. That way you get the negation, and then once it comes back to your turn, you can actually attach him to your number monster. So he's very good. It's an extra negate, so something that you can do with him. Also, that second part, you can actually get rid of him, so he's not occupying one of your extra monster zones. So that's really cool with him. So I would actually play him over Fortune's Tune, but I think Fortune's Tune is a good alternative, and I also think Fortune's Tune would be a pretty good side deck card if you go up against a deck that you know can OTK you really easily if you don't pull off your first turn combo. Now for your rank 7s, 1 Draco Sack and 1 Aurea. Still have to play Aurea. Aurea is incredibly good because she doesn't target when you use her effect. Then for our rank 8s, 1 Harbinger, Titanic Galaxy, be able to negate spells, and then we play some Galaxy Eyes. So we play some. This is the number monster we play, Galaxy Eyes, Photon Lord. So with the bamboozling guy, what you can actually do is you can negate a monster effect. This guy can also negate another monster effect. So you have 2 monster negations, and then once it comes back to your turn, you can actually attach him back to him. And then once it's your turn again, you can just overlay and you can go for Armor Photon Dragon on top of him, and then after that you can just go Cypher Blade Dragon. That way you can send 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, send it to graveyard, and then this one destroys 1 card on the field at the cost of detaching. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then last one, the last XYZ, is 1 True King of All Calamities. Now this guy is the guy who really locks out your opponent, and we try and aim for a board that with him first turn play when we use Brilliant Fusion. So let me show you real fast what a usual board looks like at the end of your first turn. So usually you end up having Saryuja, extra monster zone, King of All Calamities, Harbinger to stop spells, to stop like Regeki, Dark Hole, Kaiju Slumber. And then depending on the situation, I like between 3 different ones. Either the bamboozling guy for an extra monster negate, Draco Sack because he's guaranteed to survive, and then when it comes back to you, you can actually destroy one of your tokens to be able to destroy a card on the field. Or the last one, Aurea. That way when it comes back to you, if they end up setting anything, because they can't activate monster effects on field, and they can't attack either. So they're playing on the defensive. So that means Aurea, when it comes back to you, if you use Aurea's effect, you start bouncing everything back to hand. And then you can just switch everything and you just attack the game. So yeah, that's usually what your end board looks like. But let me go into explaining the main deck and how it works and combos. Alright guys, so let's start with Baboon. So Baboon combos really well with Fragrant Storm. So the way this combo works is you summon or special summon Baboon, doesn't matter, it'll trigger the effect. You get to draw one card and you get to put one card from your hand either back to the top or to the bottom of your deck. So what you were going to do is we draw, and then all we need is to have at least one plant type monster in our hand. Doesn't matter what it is. So we're just going to put the plant type monster back on top of our deck. Then what we're going to do is we're going to activate Fragrant Storm. So what this does is you destroy a plant type monster you control, then you draw one card. Then you reveal it. If it's a plant type monster, you get to draw an additional card. So we're going to destroy Baboon, draw our card, so we're going to draw back into our plant type monster. We reveal it, it's plant, so we get an extra draw. Then afterwards, Baboon's effect is if he's destroyed by a card effect, you get to special summon up to 2 copies of him from the deck. So then we get double Baboon. Both of them activate, we get to draw, we draw a card, and then we stack it back, either top or bottom. So you get to really fix your hand. Being able to do this adds a lot, like, let's see, let me show you. The 2 bricks that we play in this deck that you can draw are Cobra and Gemnite Garnet. So even though we play this card, it's very easy to fix your hand to be able to get these cards live again, because we play Baboon, you got this combo, you can draw, you can put them back. Saryuja lets you draw and then put cards back into the deck. We play triple Sylvan Charity, which lets you draw and then put cards back into your deck. So yeah, this deck is really consistent when it comes to being able to pull off plays like this, being able to play cards that are reliant on not drawing the bricks, you know, like your Garnet and your Cobra. So that's the Baboon play. Let me show you the main combo that you're usually going to go for this deck. So for this, it's just a 2-card combo. It's very easy to pull off. So all you need is a Scorpio, Baboon, that's it. Just Scorpio and Baboon. So either these 2 can actually be replaced with Lone Fire Blossom, because both of them equal either one of these 2. So what you're going to do is you're going to normal summon your Scorpio. Use the effective Scorpio. Oh, you need one more card. So these 2 cards plus any monster card in your hand. So summon the Scorpio, discard your monster to be able to special summon your Cobra. Cobra gets you your Brilliant Fusion. So you add Brilliant Fusion to hands. Now we're gonna activate the Brilliant Fusion. So activate your Brilliant Fusion to graveyard. We're gonna send both Gemnite Garnet and Performance Trick Cloud. Special summon our Gemnite Seraphine. Let's move everything down a bit. Okay. So you got this, you got your search. Now Trick Clown's gonna activate. Pay 1,000, special summon it to the field. Now Seraphine can actually give you an extra normal summon, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and normal summon the Baboon. When Baboon activates, you get to draw one card, put it back into the deck. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use Seraphine, the Predaplants, and Trick Clown. Now we go into Skull Dread. You want to place him somewhere where it's pointing to 3 open slots. So we go into Saryuja. he lets us draw 4 cards, and then we have to put 4 back. Now it's very likely for you to draw the Fragrance Storm, or there's a bunch of other broken cards that you can draw off of this. So you can just draw into Hermitry, which you can just special summon off of Saryuja's effect. You can also draw into Soul Charge, Monster Reborn, all those other cards. But the main one, Fragrance Storm, since we played 3 copies of it, so it'll be pretty easy to draw into it. That means you can play it on your Baboon, special summon 2 more, get the double draw, get exactly the card that you want back in your hand, and then you can actually use the double Baboon to go into number 75 to be able to set up your board. And that's that for like that's your main go-to combo when you go first. Now, to go into other ones, you should know when you start going for like synchro plays. Well, not synchro plays, just like doing XYZs and stuff. Let's go into what you can do with Hermitry and Spore. All you need is Hermitry and Spore. You need to get these 2 on field. So you can do this by like just special summoning him with either like Rose Lover or Saryuja. And then Spore you can special summon him by like sending Cherub Sprout to graveyard. You get that special summon. Or if you find a way to like send Peacekeeper to grave, that way you can special summon your Lone Fire back. You can just tribute and special summon your Spore like that. Now what you're gonna do for this is you're just going to use both Hermitry and Spore for a synchro. So send both of them to graveyard. Special summon Vermilion Dragon Mech. It's gonna be in your extra monster zone. So what we're gonna do now is use Spore's effect, remove your Hermitry from play, and then special summon your Spore. Now you can just overlay both of them, and then that's how an easy way to make Calamities. So that's a 2-card combo. Another cool one that you can do, if you have to go for plays that, like let's say you didn't draw into anything to be able to go for like the Brilliant Fusion play. Another cool combo that you can do involves just Hermitry, Sage Koya, and Spore. This can happen very easily. All you just need to do is like use like Sylvan Charity, stack your Cherub Sprout on top of the deck, or either just use Mount Sylvania to put it back on the top of your deck, to put Cherub Sprout on the top of your deck. That way you can special summon the Spore. But this is what you're gonna do. So you get Hermitry on field. Usually a good combo for this would be let me show you real fast because it's pretty easy to set up. So you need Hermitry, Sage Koya, Mount Sylvania, and Rose Lover. It's an easy way to set up this field. So activate your Mount Sylvania, use the effect, discard your Rose Lover. We're gonna stack Cherub Sprout on top of the deck. So it goes on top of the deck. Use the effect of Rose Lover, banish her, special summon your Hermitry. Use the effect of Hermitry, send the top card of your deck to the... Well, excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a plant-type monster, reveal it, and then draw a card. So it's Cherub Sprout, so send it to graveyard. You get to draw 1 free card, and then we'll special summon the Spore. You'll also chain the Sage Koya. Since a Sylvan monster was sent, it's excavated and sent to graveyard, you get to special summon your Sage Koya. So you have all 3 of them on field. So you have 2 options right here. So you can actually choose to not special summon the Sage Koya and then do the combo I just showed you with Vermilion Dragon Mech and then go for King of all Calamities. Or if you go for this play, you can actually special summon the Sage Koya, use both the Spore and Sage Koya. We're gonna go for Psyframe Lord Omega, so he's gonna be right there. Then use the effect of Psyframe Lord Omega, banish him to be able to banish a card from your opponent's hand. Then we're going to use the effect Spore, banish the Sage Koya to make the Spore a level 8. And then we can overlay both of these guys, and then we can make another monster that disrupts. So we'll make number 90. Okay, and he'll be in our extra monster zone. That way, with when Psyframe comes back, he'll be able to go back to the monster zone. And then also, we already banished our Rose Lover, so if he survives another turn, and then you can actually put your Rose Lover back into the graveyard. That way you can special summon more plants from here. So, yeah, that's another combo that you can go for. There's a lot of combos that this deck can go for. It's kind of hard to go into detail with every single combo, but I'll definitely post replays from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro showing off this deck so you guys can understand how all the combos work, how strong going first is with this deck. And yeah, though, the last thing I can tell you is for the side deck, or changes to the main deck if you actually want to, because one of the weaknesses this deck has is getting Ash Blossom, getting just hit by hand traps like that, Effect Veiler too. You can actually use Called by the Grave. It's just that I focused my deck on consistency to being able to pull off everything. I couldn't find room for Call for the Grave on the main deck, but I would definitely side that card. The most dangerous card this deck has to worry about is Infinite Impermanence, because that card, not even Called by the Grave, can counter that card. So that card is incredibly dangerous for this deck. But still, I think this deck has a strong potential to be able to compete, and it's very good. It's the best. It's the best I was able to come up with for Sylvans without Blink Monster, without Jasmine. But yeah, I hope you guys like the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.